Hi, Pisces Sun and Rising. Welcome to your December 2021 Astro Update. It's Raina here. I'm recording this on my laptop. Some of you said that it was working well, and I'm giving my phone a rest. Got a little damp in there yesterday, so it's not working properly. So, looking at the month of December, we're going to go out with a bang because we have a lot going on, including a solar eclipse in Sagittarius. But even your ruler is making a some noise here because on the first of the month, Neptune goes direct in its own sign of Pisces, and this is in your first house of the self. While Neptune has been retrograding, I think since June, you may have been feeling a bit disillusioned about life in general. Maybe not. Only you can know if that's true. The first house is the body, it's the image, the self image. It can be just like your life as a whole. And when Neptune is direct, you might feel very idealistic about life, albeit a little bit confused at times about what exactly you want to do, because remember that the first house is the beginning of a new cycle. So when you have Neptune there, it's kind of like the Seven of Cups in the tarot, where you might feel like you have options, but you don't know which one to go towards. But I feel like you're going to be more positive when Neptune goes direct because you've done kind of the what we would call the hard work of dealing with the unvarnished truth of the situation, and now you can go back to more idealism. On the fourth of the month, a solar, and also, by the way, because this is your ruler, it just may feel like you might feel like you're going more in a forward motion. It is an outer planet, but it is your ruler, so maybe you're going to, you feel it more personally than other signs. On the 4th, we have a solar eclipse at 12 degrees of Sagittarius, which is another mutable sign. So it's in an angular house, and in this case, it's in your career sector. Solar eclipse, this could have positive reverberations. Remember that eclipses are fated events, and solar eclipses are powerful new moons, so they can indicate new beginnings. And with eclipses, this could be enhanced several times over. Where, this is only a few days after Neptune goes direct, so you might just be feeling like things are starting to pick up in your life. And the thing to be careful of is not being scattered, so that you really have a game plan. Because if you get multiple offers for career matters or, possibilities, you want to really hone in on what is right for you. And you might be feeling like indecisive, perhaps, about what is going on because you feel like you have different possibilities, which you do. It's just that some of them may be better than others. This can also bring something to your attention about career matters that can be a little bit, I don't know if I'd say daunting or unpleasant, because the South Node is also here. I don't have my ephemeris in front of me, but I'm assuming it's like at 1 degree or something like that. It's not forming a conjunction, I don't think, but it certainly is in the same sign. So if you have a tendency to be doing certain things that are not really moving you forward, but you're kind of in that comfort zone, you might be catapulted out of that in some way. And I'm not saying that it's going to be around the 4th of the month, because these eclipses they may take effect for you at the beginning of 2022. I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly in this time frame of December. But they might be making you aware of something. And even like if you got some kind of a promotion, per se, for example, you might realize that you don't feel confident about your abilities, and that can feel uncomfortable. So, realizing something about yourself as it relates to your career could come up. On the 13th, Mars goes into this area as well in Sagittarius, and Mars certainly has a connection to ambition, but it can also have an aggressive edge to it. It can make the person um, trying too hard, maybe. And I think that this can especially come into play with a sign like Pisces, because you don't tend to assert yourself um, in the typical way. You tend to be a little bit more reticent about doing things like that. And so, what I have observed with people that don't assert themselves is that they tend to be overly aggressive when they finally get around to doing something like that. And so this can also involve having conflict with authority figures. This can even be one of your parents, the more disciplinarian one. Typically, this is the house of the father. And this is around Christmas, so there might be something like going home and having a parent treat you like they did when you were a kid, and it's just not going to work anymore. You're not about that, and that could feel very irritating and make you feel like you want to fight back. But being forewarned is forearmed, and you might want to observe your feelings and then do something that is more productive, like simply saying how you feel instead of getting upset. But this can make you very ambitious, and even like working overtime or something like that. On the same day, Mercury goes into Capricorn, and that is your 11th house of hopes and wishes. And you might be feeling I don't know, like very how would I put it, future oriented, goal oriented. This saying it's the house of hopes and wishes can mean long range goals that you have. Mercury here is your mindset, and maybe you're going to be putting a lot of thought into it, because you're going to have a new moon here right after the new year, and so that can be the time to put things into motion. However, it's well, it may be, it may not be, because Venus is going to be retrograde at this time in the same house, and so there might be conflicting desires. And even Mercury, I think, goes retrograde. I don't know if it goes in Capricorn or Aquarius. I'll have to check that, but that's not this month. That's in January. This is also a time where you may be getting in touch with your friends. This is the holiday season, and perhaps you're catching up with them and things like that. On the 18th, we have a full moon at 27 degrees of Gemini. This is yet another mutable sign, in this case in front of you, so it's going to be in the 4th house of home and family. A full moon can bring something into fruition or ending. So if you plan to move, you might be getting ready to close, to close on the sale of your house, or you just decide that you're done living where you are, because Mercury, um, not Mercury, but there's, let me think, is there any planets? Um, yeah, no, scratch that. Um, this can be something even psychological from the past about childhood. And it's interesting whenever there are transits with certain signs that are connected to, the fourth house or the eighth house or something like that, or the 12th house, all the water houses. And, the holiday season is upon us, because even getting together with family can trigger some of those things, because you can kind of keep them under wraps, but then you like spend some time with families. This doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, and you can feel like it's almost like regressing back to that helplessness or those feelings, those negative feelings that you had in the past. But this, you might be dealing with something that makes you connect the dots, and it can actually be some kind of an awareness, aha moment type of thing. And really, to me, that's all it takes when we're talking about certain events that happen in our lives, is that we have that awareness, and then we can move forward with that. So those kinds of things. And just like putting something behind you, so to speak. So let's see here. I've got my screen all jacked up here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's what happens when you're using your laptop. I just want to say one more thing. So even though this is the full moon is in Gemini, it can be very emotional for you, Pisces, because it is in that water house. On the 19th, Venus goes retrograde at 26 degrees of Capricorn. So there you have it. This is this area of hopes and wishes, but also of gains. That's another thing about the 11th house. So Venus retrograde, that might actually work in your favor. Let's say you asked for a raise, and for whatever reason they shot you down. Maybe now they will kind of pony up, or maybe give you some kind of bonus or something like that. I think sometimes of retrogrades maybe as delayed results. Venus is one of those planets that is considered a benefic, so it makes sense that even retrograde, it might be positive for you. So I would say something along those lines. I keep going off screen here for some reason. And then on the 21st, we have the winter solstice, and this is in Capricorn, or the summer if you're down under. I get angry thinking about summer when it's been like freezing here, so I'm a little bit irked about that at the moment. But yeah, so this is a power period when the sun is going into a cardinal sign, and in this case it's Capricorn, so that's going to be that 11th house again. And so one thing about the 11th house is that it's very social. And so whether this is a group that you belong to, or some kind of friends that you are associated with, that can be you really spending time. And again, this is in the holiday season, so it fits very nicely for that. And Pisces people, I consider people. You say people person. Well, what's the plural of that? People. And so you guys are people who tend to like others and enjoy their company, and Um, this may be something where you are spending more time with your friends catching up, if you haven't done so in the last, I don't know, few months or even longer. Who knows? Um, who knows? Maybe since Neptune went retrograde, maybe that was a time when you kind of went inside of yourself, even, because that was the first house. Okay, here is the main event. I guess I didn't even think about this. On the 28th, Jupiter goes into your sign. So there you go. Um, and by the way, Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces. So you have a connection with Jupiter as it is. Um, and this must be why there is some connection between the ninth and the 12th houses. I mean, Sagittarius's house that Jupiter rules has that connection to God, and the 12th house, obviously, to spirituality, more like mysticism. So if you combine that, you have, some similarities. I mean, definitely there are differences. But in any case, how can this benefit you? Well, first of all, you're into a new Jupiter cycle. So whether it's your solar first or your natal first, this is a whole new go around. And I would say how I look at it, and I'm thinking about my life as a whole, um, I see it as the first house as a catch all house for all things in your life. So change and, but in this case, growth. And so anything that you would like to have expanded, maybe you, again, with the full moon in the fourth, maybe you want to move, or maybe you want to have it. And with moving, I mean, this could even be long distance travel because Jupiter's associated with that. And so maybe you're going to expand geographically. Um, this can make you more positive. I actually have a video uh, about how this will affect you, and I'll try to find it and link it under the video so you can get all the details. But it can just like, in terms of your attitude, it can be much more positive because you feel the sense of um, that you can do anything. And sometimes, of course, on the flip side, a person can get overly confident about what they can do, and that might be unrealistic, but it can still be something where you are seeing the glass half full and then some. So, in any case, I'm going to leave it there, Pisces. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a personal reading, I do have double readings called deep dive readings, where I look at your chart, I look at the transits in the upcoming year, and it's for a special price. This is like a 2 hour altogether reading. And it's more comprehensive. I can take more time in each area. But in any case, my website is rainamoonastrology.com. The link is below. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye.